What up, boyos? This is a bonus show for the Loner Gamecast. It's our personal lists. They contain no remakes, no remasters. Me and Jake kind of got together and said, you know, let's make a fucking video of our favorite shit from last generation. Now this could be from on Switch, as long as it was between, you know, the PS4 when that came out and the PS5 when that came out. It could be on Xbox, it could be on computer. It just had to come out in that generation time gap. Right?
Well, I wanted to have this debate real quick.
All right.
Let's have this debate because we have a debate in here because we've got Mario Odyssey in our honorable mentions. And
Yes.
Odyssey came out on the Switch.
Right.
But is the Switch next gen, you know? Like current gen now?
What I think it is,
because the Wii U would be the previous gen, would be with like the PS4, right?
That's a good point. But man, now I don't know.
It's confusing.
I don't know. See, all right, we'll put an asterisk by like Nintendo games, maybe not last gen, you know, because Nintendo fucks it all up.
Well, fortunately, Nintendo doesn't show up too much on our list, so
it does. It's your number fucking one, my guy.
Hey man, that's some spoiler shit. But that's on the Wii U though. That's why I'm like,
okay,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's cross generational.
Yeah.
Also, these are games that we felt added something important to the generation that they were in. It did something unique, something different, something.
But also
with that wow factor.
Also very personal lists, though, you know?
Oh, yes. Also very personal. I mean, I don't have a couple of things on here that I know are on everybody else's list. And to be honest, Jake's list and my list are completely fucking different. We've come up with 10 different games throughout this 7.5 year thing that we've got. And we're just going to run through them. You want to start at number 10, Jake? Or you want to go number 1?
Should we hit our honorable mentions first?
No, let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah, let's do the honorable mentions. These are ones that we think are worth mentioning, but didn't make the top 10.
Yep. Honorable mentions. We have Hollow Knight. That is on everything now. If you haven't played it, it's a great game. Fucking play that game. What is this that I'm seeing? I don't know. Okay. Right. God of War. It's a good game. Honorable mention number 2. We got Celeste. I didn't play this one. Jake played it. What do you have to say about it?
It is a beautiful little platformer. Also, like we talked about on the last episode of the Loner Gamecast, we talked about how accessibility is really cool in The Last of Us Part 2. And accessibility is really good in this game. The music and soundtrack is just really good. And also the story turns out to be like about depression and overcoming depression. It's very good.
Yeah, you guys keep telling me like, hey, you should play this. It would really fucking sit with you. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not a platformer guy. But
it's very good. And you could put it on any difficulty. Like it can be very difficult, but you can also just like cheat your way through. And they're like, you could do that. That's fine. Just play the game, you know?
That's cute. I might pick that up then.
Very good game.
Next up, we got Last of Us Part 2. That's right. It's not in either of our lists.
I know. It's just crazy enough. Crazy enough. There's just so many games, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
Do you also feel like Last of Us Part 2 didn't make our list because it's so recent? I've noticed like both of our lists, like they're all kind of older-ish games. You know what I mean? Like we've had time to sit on all of these games. And Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, like these games, we just haven't had time to like sit on them, I think.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. And we haven't had time to like have a second playthrough on like I know I want to do a playthrough of The Last of Us Part 2 on the PlayStation 5. I don't know when, but I plan on it. And maybe that's what it is, because I played through The Last of Us Part 1 like 4 times. and I was like, dude, this game is so good. Last generation, game of the generation for sure. This one, I didn't think it was so hot, but also we had so many fucking good games this generation.
It's a good gen. It's a good gen.
It is. Next up, honorable mention: Red Dead Redemption 2. Another one, very controversial that it's not in our top 10s. I personally didn't like this game.
I just thought it's worth mentioning because of just like how important it is and like its innovations and stuff. It is very cumbersome though. It's a very cumbersome game.
Gameplay wise, it's horrible. I fucking hate traveling and walking for 15 minutes, getting off your horse. And the story the story kind of falls flat for me. I know not for a lot of people, but like the breadth of the game is just so huge and so.
The story's pretty good, but
did you beat it?
Yeah.
Did you?
No.
No, I didn't think so. I didn't think so.
I've seen the story through the end, so
right.
But okay. I didn't beat it myself.
Oh, okay. Well, see, that's what I'm talking about. Anyway, moving on. We got
That's
Bloodborne.
more of a gameplay thing, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Bloodborne is another one, and I know this one is also on a lot of people's other lists.
Well, and I put in brackets here, I put Dark Souls, because I feel like Dark Souls is just like worth mentioning, and Bloodborne, for me personally, Bloodborne is the best Dark Souls game. But like Dark Souls is just such an important, and Dark Souls technically last gen, but just I feel like Dark Souls just really had an impact on this generation of gaming,
Right. Yeah, I completely agree.
But just like me personally, I'm not a huge fan of them. But Bloodborne's great.
I couldn't get through Bloodborne. It was kind of like Sekiro, where I got to a boss that was just pissing me off so much, and I'm like, all right, I'm not having fun anymore, and I just put the game down. Next up, we have Mario Odyssey asterisk. Because is it next gen? Is it last gen?
Yeah, this is the question. Yeah, but
Mario Odyssey is fucking awesome. It's fucking awesome.
Great ass game. So fun. Huge smile on the face.
Yep. Huge smile on the face. Next up,
the face.
Hellblade Sesua's Sacrifice. I didn't play through this. Jake, you played through it though.
Yeah, it's a fucking great game. Very short game. Didn't quite make my list just because I don't know. There's just other things. But like the use of like sound design, and it also shows like what indie developers are capable now. Like indie developers are nothing to scoff at now. Not that they ever were, but like this is like if I wasn't told, I would assume that it's a AAA game, but it wasn't. Also, just like the story of it being about like mental illness and stuff like that is just very well done, well acted. It's a fucking great game.
I hear the sound design is really good in it too.
Yeah, you have to wear it with headphones because it's about a girl with schizophrenia, and it makes you feel like you have schizophrenia. So
that's bizarre. Yeah, bizarre. But also, I agree, which is why it's still here. Rainbow Six Siege is our next one. Super fucking good game. Super good mechanics. Super good everything. I just wish Ubisoft did not produce this game. Straight up. I wish it was on different servers. I wish it looked better. I wish it ran better. Really good, really cool concept though, and I hope it like grows into something better over time.
Mm-hmm. And it took that. Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, go for it. No, one day I hope it's on one of my lists. Honestly, like Rainbow Six Siege 2 is on my list because it is a very good game. I've put over 400 hours into it. I hate that fucking game, and I just kind of want to see it do better.
Mm-hmm. It took that like that Counter-Strike sort of gameplay style and like changed it and like put it on its side and made it new and interesting and fresh. The destructible walls and stuff are just so good, and
it's just so tactical. It's very tactical. And you don't get a whole lot of that in first-person shooters anymore. It's all like, oh, I'm going to blow you up. I'm blowing you up now. And I'm respawning and blowing you up. It's That's all it is. But this game is really, it really makes you really think about what your next move is. Just keep it going. Who the fuck cares? So we feel.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, excellent. We're gonna keep moving along. Mad Max. I did not play this.
Okay, I wanted to put Mad Max on here because no one talks about this goddamn game. It's made by Avalanche. Such a fucking good game. This game came out like under the radar. Everyone just assumed it was going to be like a movie tie-in because it came out like the same year as the Mad Max Fury Road movie. But this game is actually excellent. It's super good open world. Kind of like large land, like desert emptiness, but they make the world feel alive even though it's a lot of emptiness. And like the car combat is really good, and it's just a super solid open world game.
Yeah. Next one is Bound. I didn't play this one either.
So I wanted to give this one a shout out as well. Bound is just this beautiful game. Maybe I could get a trailer up for it because it's just so pretty. Well,
that's the trailer. We should play that one anyway.
Yeah, this is
there. You go.
Yeah,
there you go.
It's such a pretty game. You're like a little ballerina chick made by Santa Monica. Very cool. Yeah, and it's just this pretty story about with these cool geometric sort of shapes, and the game like I don't want to spoil it, but like it turns out to be a lot deeper than you expect it to be. It's just so good, and it was like my PlayStation background for the longest time. Just a
kind of gives me like Journey vibes.
Yeah, it is sort of like Journey, a bit more gamey than Journey, if that makes sense. But
yeah,
there is some like platforming and stuff to it. But
gotcha.
Yeah, it's like Journey though.
Yeah, cool. And then our last one for honorable mentions is Uncharted 4. And I feel like this one almost made the list because it's just so fucking good. It's so good. The acting, the choreography for the fights, the dialogue, everything in this game is so good. It just kind of stays in the Uncharted sort of realm, and I don't think that does a whole lot for it.
This game was so close to being on my top 10. I think it's the best Uncharted game. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, I think that is the best Uncharted game.
I agree.
Because the combat's really good, and like the platforming is really good, and the story is easily the most gripping story of all of them, and the most memorable one. Just very, very, very good. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, that's it for our honorable mentions. If you have another honorable mention, throw that bitch in the thing. Let us know what your game of the years are or whatnot. Shit, we're getting right into it. My number 10. My number 10 is Control. This game came out last year. Fucking incredible. So good. Third person. Spooky as hell. Action, adventure, sci-fi mind fuck of a game. And not a whole lot of games did this. And I feel like this game did it, but also exceeded at doing it. Like they took the leap of faith and it fucking worked. And if you have not played Control, please play Control. It is worth every minute of your time. It is so beautiful. It's so well put together. Props to Remedy for this one. After they did Alan Wake, and then they did that one that kind of flopped. Quantum Break.
Quantum Break.
Yeah, they
Quantum
did that
of Solace.
One. Yeah, Quantum of Justice. And then they did this one, and it's just so much better than all of those. And visually, like, look at that explosion. Look at this. Look at that thing. What is that? What is that? that's in the game. These are not like cutscenes or anything. Well, that might be.
Well, some of them are, but
but like some of them, like that's in the game. That's gameplay right there. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's just such a mind fuck. What do you got for your number 10?
Well, I want to let me just point out Control. This also almost made my list. What a fucking great game. Ray tracing through the ass. It's a trip.
Yeah.
It's a trip. Great game. Anyway, my number 10. Here we go. We got Destiny. Our baby boy.
Baby boy. This beat out Uncharted 4 for Jake, if that means anything to you guys.
See, like, okay, so I almost didn't add this to my top 10, and the more I thought about it, the more I was like, this was just such a, for me, this was the game that was like, this is the next generation of games. This was the game that did it, that I was like, we're in the next gen. You know what I mean? Like this, Destiny 1 specifically, and like, you know, there's an argument to be made that Destiny is the reason that games are, you know, games of service now, because Destiny was sort of the first one to do it. But I can't really blame them, dude, because like, damn, it was just such a good model. I feel a little burned by Destiny now, but man, I put so much time into it. The gunplay was so much fun. The story was trash, but it didn't matter because you were just yucking it up with your pals. And
that was the best part of it. Was just like you get a fire team in there, you get the three people.
The raid
was so good.
And the subsequent raids after, so good, man.
Yeah.
Truly a classic.
Another game I put like 400 hours into, and you know, kind of you get burnt out after you put 400 hours into a game, and you're like, oh, there's a second one coming out, and none of my shit transfers. Then it's kind of like, what am I doing? What am I doing?
Yeah,
you know,
it's true.
I get that.
But it's a great game.
It is. It's very good, and they did a great job being the first.
Yeah, because I feel like without Destiny, we wouldn't have the Division, and more importantly, we wouldn't have the Division 2, and you know, more importantly, we wouldn't have the Division 3, which is coming. You know, so
mark your calendars for that.
Yeah. What you got at number 9 there, Nick?
Number 9. You see it. It's Cuphead. Obviously, fucking Cuphead. If Cuphead is not on your fucking top 10, what are you doing? Look. Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know what the fuck.
Look at that.
Look at the next gen that is. Like, it's such a good game, and it's all hand drawn, animated. That is the biggest thing about this game. Look at it. All of those are hand animated, hand drawn. It's so good. It's so fun. It's so hard. And I don't.
I'll tell you why it's not on my list. It's not on my list because I didn't beat it, because it's so fucking hard. It's
so hard. But that's kind of what it's a boss rush of a game, and I kind of enjoy that. Sometimes, you know, you got Fury. I almost put Fury in honorable mentions. That was a PlayStation Plus game back in the day. And it was just a boss rush. And you're just like escaping this prison and you're doing a boss rush. It's kind of like that. It's just really, it's so good. So good. That's it. The trailer's over. That's all I got.
It was like the trailer rush.
The trailer rush, yeah.
Watch some girlfriend reviews. My number 9, I've got What Remains of Edith Finch. Fantastic game. Let me just close that out. Close these. What Remains of Edith Finch is a sort of weird game. It's I would classify it. I would classify it as it's a walking sim of sorts.
That's what I hear. That's why I've never picked it up.
Yeah, it's a walking sim. It's very story driven. It's very artsy fartsy. But by golly, is it good? Another game that really delves into mental illness and
you just
death.
You love mental illness.
Well, I don't
It
love
seems to
mental
be a
illness,
theme. It seems to be a theme in here.
but like, and it goes into death. Basically, the game is about you walking through your family's old abandoned house. It's like your family's like rundown house, and kind of just going through like the curse of your family because everyone in your family is dead. And it's kind of the story about how each one of them has died.
Huh.
And it's very good.
So,
Tearjerker. This game has one of my favorite moments in any video game ever, and I don't even want to spoil it. But damn it, I'm going to spoil it.
all right.
There's a
Shit.
section.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert for What Remains of Edith Finch. But there is a section of the game where you're playing as like her cousin or somebody, and like he works at a fish place and he cuts off the heads of fishes, right? And but he also has a mental problem where he imagines a world inside of his head. So you're controlling this like little king man that's walking around through this little world, but at the same time with your other stick, you're taking a fish and cutting its head off while you're controlling the little king man that's walking around.
Weird.
It's one of the best things. I won't say any more than that because it's super powerful moment in the game. But goddamn, what a good ass game, dude. Just a fantastic game.
Shit.
So there you go.
You may have sold me on that one.
Yeah, you should definitely check it out. You should have it. It was free on Plus.
Yeah, I think I do have it actually.
It's you can beat it in 2 hours. So it's one of those kind of games. What's your number 8, Nick?
My number 8. Number 8 is Paragon. It doesn't exist anymore, but god damn it, it was okay. This game has a long fucking story to it. This game is a MOBA. Is that what it is? MOBA?
Yeah.
It's
League.
It's a league, but it's third person action view, sort of. The thing I loved about this game was the developers, how open the developers were. And I got into this game really early, and I bought the Founders Edition or whatever. I spent like $40, and they did a thing where they would release a hero every 3 weeks, no matter what. And every time they did, it was on the dot. It was like, here's the next hero. And then every week they would have like a dev talk, like a community chat, and they would just sit down every like Saturday or Sunday on YouTube, on Twitch, wherever, and they would just be like, hey guys, this is what you should get hyped for because this character is fucking cool and we have to do some balancing issues with this character. So if you play Gideon, who's that guy throwing the fucking rock, we had to like change his rock that he throws. Instead of 1 rock, he now throws like 3 rocks and they deal less damage. And it was very like, it was so open. The community was so open and the devs were so open that you knew what you were getting until Fortnite became a thing. Because the guys, this is the same studio that worked on Fortnite. And when Fortnite, the Battle Royale, came out and was really fucking popular with all the fucking chillins, they took all of the people from this team and moved them over to Fortnite and stopped everything on this team. However, which was fucking devastating, I gotta say. I was super fucking bummed because there was going to be like more characters and it was getting close to its actual like release, like 1.0 release. And so they shut it down. And that week on the thing to like, hey guys, just an FYI, everybody's leaving because Fortnite's so good. I don't know if they said that, but it's like everybody's moving on and we're stopping the game. And then they said something like, but all of our assets, you can just have them for free. So if somebody I know there's a few teams out there trying to remake this game, and they're doing a good job. I've played a couple of them, but they're just not as engaged with the community as Epic was back in
Yeah,
the
because
day.
they had the funds.
Yeah, and
Epic had the funds to do that. Yeah.
yeah, and it was just like I played so many hours, so many games, got so many skins for this game, and I really have it like I really just hate Fortnite I hate Fortnite so much because all the chillins fucking love Fortnite
Yeah, I
and will
remember.
spend all the money on Fortnite. And this was like the only MOBA I've ever played and ever really liked. I understood every concept in it. I don't like League. I don't like Dota. I don't like Smite. This one fucking worked for me, and then they canceled it. And the characters are so fucking good. But
Yeah, I remember when it came out. I played quite a bit of Paragon as well. And I remember like when they released this game, it was this game and then that weird like sort of, Left 4 Dead sort of thing, and it was like called Fortnite, and we're like, what is this?
it was Fortnite. Well, it was Fortnite, and it was like it was a tower defense game.
Yeah,
is what it was,
with like zombies and shit. And we're like, what the fuck is that? And we were playing Paragon, and then they're like, oh well, they're doing like a free version over there in Fortnite because you picked up Fortnite.
Yeah, picked it up.
The
when
OG
it was in early
Fortnite.
access.
Yeah, and they're like, you're doing a free thing, you should come try it out. And we're like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. And then out of nowhere, it turned into the biggest game of all time. It was truly insane. And then Paragon just sort of vanished and disappeared. But
it's still in my heart. Still in my heart of hearts.
Anyway, moving on to
what
my number
8.
My number 8 is God of War. 2018's God of War. I was always a fan of the God of War series, I think the first one I played was God of War 2 back on the PlayStation 2.
And that's the first one I played too.
Yeah, and then in subsequent years I went back and played 1 and 3. And I never played the what was it, God of War Judgment or Rapture or Ascension, whatever the fuck it was.
Something like that, yeah.
With like the multiplayer. But yeah, this game takes the story of God of War, moves it to Norse mythology, and also grounds it a bit. And also takes the hack and slashy bits and kind of takes that out of it and makes it more of an action sort of game instead of like a hack and slash. Sort of like a third person over the shoulder thing instead of, totally zoomed out. I feel like they could smell the writing on the wall with Ascension and like how they're like, maybe this property is a bit dried out, maybe we should try something completely different. And they did, and they knocked it out of the park because this game is so stinking good. I think the combat's really good.
It's fantastic. It's a fantastic fucking game.
Admittedly, it could be better, the combat, but it's super interesting. I love the idea of the axe that comes back to you, like Mjolnir. It's really cool. I also love the idea of Atreus. If you see me looking over here, my TV's over there, so I'm sorry. But like Atreus, the child boy, he kind of follows you around, and he becomes like a secondary weapon to you almost, and it's really fun. And then the story is also pretty solid, and it ends with like a pretty cool cliffhanger. Yeah.
I think the second one is going to be better.
Yeah, I hope so.
I just think it is. I think it's going to be a little bit more grand because you don't actually like fight gods in this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you fight like lesser gods.
You fight gods, but it's not like Zeus,
Yeah. So in the Thor. Next one, I feel like the next one's going to be really fucking epic. Whereas this one was kind of like, we're going to rebrand and restart and make it to go along with the times. And now that they have like their foot in the door and people love it, I think they're going to up the names in that.
I agree. And Cory Barlog, the creator, that's a great still right there. Cory Barlog, the creator of God of War, the director, that is, And he's been there since like the OG God of Wars, which is what's crazy. It's not like they totally changed their team. Like this is the direction they wanted to take it. But Cory Barlog said that. He's like, we thought about having, Thor, Odin, like those guys in it. But he's like, that kind of takes away from the like father-son story that we're trying to tell. Yeah. Although Thor and Odin, there could have been some parallels there. Yeah. But
maybe that's the next one.
Maybe, but they did kind of have that because they had Thor's kids in this one.
Yeah,
but,
and the mother.
Yeah, and the mom. Yeah, but yeah, it was a solid game, man. If you haven't played it, fucking go do that. Just go.
What are you waiting for? Go. PlayStation 4. I'll give it to you. I'll give you my PlayStation.
Yeah, just go do it. What's your number 7 there, Nick?
My number 7 is Sunset Overdrive. This game is the only game on Xbox One I own. I bought an Xbox One for this game. This is the game that Insomniac did before moving to Sony and making Marvel Spider-Man. I don't know what the fuck this is.
Is this not Sunset Overdrive?
Nope. Oh, there it is.
It is.
It is. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is Sunset Overdrive.
Hell yeah, boy.
Wacky Tony Hawk style.
Spider-Man almost.
Spider-Man. Super. It's just so fucking bizarre and colorful. You get all these funny ass guns. It's very much like Ratchet and Clank meets Tony Hawk meets superhero games. It's just so good and wacky. I love this game. I love this game so much, and I wish it would come to like PlayStation or a PC, but it's Xbox only.
I think it's on PC.
Is it? I'm sure you could get it on PC. I know it's on Game Pass, but I'm not sure if it's included in the PC version of Game Pass.
I think it might be. I'll have to double check that. But
yeah. I love this game, and I think I beat it twice.
Also, just a matter of time before this does come to PlayStation as well. Because, PlayStation has the rights to it now.
They do, but they also have the rights to Marvel Spider-Man. So I don't know if they're going to take Insomniac off of Marvel's or off of Sony's like big fucking superhero game.
Right, but they could have Bluepoint remake this game, if they wanted to.
Yeah, I'm down. Fucking down. Give me another one. I will play it again. I will beat the shit out of it.
Yeah, I'm into it. Game. I've always been a huge fan of Insomniac. I never actually played this game because it was on Xbox. But I love Insomniac. Like I grew up on Ratchet and Clank. Like those were the games that kind of made me fall in love with video games. And
look how fucking colorful that is.
I know.
Look at it.
And
look at all that.
Of course, these guys like went on to make. Yeah, I don't know why it's like turning into like 440p though. But of course, these guys went on to make like Spider-Man because this is very Spider-Man-esque. It's like pre-Spider-Man Spider-Man. But it also has like the Ratchet and Clank sort of wall grindy stuff and the weapons of Ratchet and Clank. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, the weapon wheels and everything, and you have to like the reason I say like Tony Hawk is because you have to keep like your combo going as you're killing things, otherwise you can lose. You have to like jump on things, jump on cars, grind. Yeah, it's just such a beautiful game. It's so cartoony, and they don't make games like this anymore. Like you got Ratchet and Clank, but like this is something. It was new. It wasn't like Ratchet and Clank again. It was like
what it kind of makes me think of. It's like a cross between what's that one fucking zombie game where you kill all those. Oh God! But it also makes me
zombies.
Yeah, kill all the zombies. The video game.
Okay.
Yeah. But it also makes me think of Lollipop Chainsaw a bit.
Yeah, the colors for sure.
The sort of color. Yeah, cool game.
Lollipop Chainsaw was a cool game,
It was,
but that's
underrated.
yeah, I agree. What is your number 7, my guy? We're on number 7.
You
What
know,
is your number 7?
it kind of leads in. It's sort of similar. That's a Doom Eternal trailer.
Oh.
But my actual pick is here we go. This one. I understand.
Oh.
I wish to proceed. Just the original, the original 2016 Doom, because this game's fucking awesome. It's a return to form for Doom. Not that Doom 3 was bad. Doom 3 is cool, but it didn't feel like Doom. This game like takes you back to like what you thought Doom felt like when you were a kid, but it's not like that. But it makes you feel like what you thought it felt like back then, if that makes sense.
Right. I get what you're saying. It's a really good, like, what you pictured when you were a little kid, blowing up demons' faces and stuff like that. Like, this is what you saw when you played those shitty graphics, and now you go back to them and you're like, oh, I thought this looked good, but then you go to this and you're like, yeah, this is what I remember seeing when I was a kid.
Which I think that's what like Doom 3 was going for, was like, hey, we're going to make it like super 3D now. You can move up and down, because if you remember in the original Dooms, you couldn't even look up and down. But it didn't quite accomplish what they were going for. But this one it's just fast paced. You're killing things all the time. There is lore there if you're into that. But if you don't give a shit and just want to kill things, feel free. Just fucking kill some things, man. It's a good time. And there's some like challenge missions and all the gun upgrades. Oh man, what a solid game. And the online was really fun too, which was kind of lacking in Doom Eternal. We were missing that sweet online, which no one cared about, I guess. But also Snap Map was pretty fucking cool as well. There were some cool things in Snap Map. It was like Tony Hawk but Doom, you know. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
A
lot of Tony Hawk going on. My number 6, if you're done with your number 7.
No, yeah, go for it.
My number 6 is, I was waiting for you to pull it over, Titanfall 2. The story of Titanfall 2 is the best first-person shooter this generation, hands down. It is the best first-person shooter story. Like last generation, I would have said Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1, the original Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, was like the best, groundbreaking, crazy cool ideas in a first-person shooter. This game is it just does the next thing. Like it gives you like a mechanic that you have to do for one mission, and then it just goes, okay, we're done with that mechanic now. You know how cool that was? We're going to move to something just as cool, but completely different. And it was so well done. Like it was a level-based shooter. It wasn't like, oh, you just go into this room, shoot a couple of guys, okay, walk down this corridor, go over here, shoot a couple of guys. It was like, this level is important because we give you a watch that goes back in time, and you can reverse and go forward and back in time, and you have to use that, otherwise you have to start over, or everything's fucking sideways and you have to fight sideways, and there's a reason for it, and it's a cool fucking reason for it. And at the end you get to fight a fucking mech with another mech. Like, it's so good, it's so cool, it makes you feel really badass, and you get like connected with this BT unit, this robot, and he has his own personality, and you're like, man, fucking love this robot, even though it's just a fucking robot, you know? And it's really cool. It's definitely my number 1 first-person shooter this last generation. PlayStation 4, Xbox One generation.
I agree with you that it's like a really, when it comes to like military shooters, like, yeah,
that's what I mean. Yeah, it's like Doom. I don't count Doom as like a first.
Yeah,
person.
Doom is more of like a weird action.
Like a first person hack and slash is kind of what I
Yeah,
consider
sort
doing, I
of
guess.
bullet hell sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it comes to like military shooters, which this is a little different because you've got mechs and stuff, but yeah, this game is so stinking good. I remember like the first one didn't have a single player, and they're like, okay, we hear you, and they made one of the best single players in a long
And
time. And
what sucks about this game is it came out alongside, like, a week after Battlefield
Yeah.
1, and it didn't get any recognition. Like,
And-
there's those diehard fans like me who played the shit out of it and love the game, but then there's people who have not played this game and are just like, yeah, just didn't get into it, and it's too late now. It is not too late now.
just play the single player at least.
It still holds up.
The single player is so good. Yeah, it came out like the week after Battlefield 1 and then like the week before Call of Duty. So they just kind of
it was the worst.
They sent it out there to die, which is just so sad, and then they went on to make that really shitty Jedi game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so solid, and like you feel a connection with your robot. You mentioned that, but yeah, even the multiplayer is really good. I love the like horde stuff with the robots.
Yeah, yeah. There's a
fun.
co-op. There's a co-op mode, 4-player co-op mode, where you can defend like the spot, and you do like a horde mode. I forgot about that. And then there's also like standard multiplayer.
Yeah, and the standard multiplayer was really solid too, but it died really quick. It had a few resurgence over the years where like people kind of were like, oh shit, this is really good, and then it would die off again, and then it would go on sale or something, and everyone's like, oh my god, this is really good, and then it would die off again. But yeah, solid game.
Yeah, number 6 for me, for sure.
And my number 6 is Horizon Zero Dawn.
I did not see that, even though it's right in my face. I'm reading it
in your document. This game's awesome. Nick never played it, which is a goddamn shame.
Before we get into this, can I say why I never played this game?
Sure, because The Witcher.
No, I played The Witcher, and I was looking for a game. I was looking for a game that would like wean me off of playing The Witcher, and I'm like, oh, Horizon Zero Dawn, that looks really cool. It got lost in the mail and took like months, and they're like, well, we can't find it, so we're just going to cancel the order. And I'm like, okay. And then I just never really picked it up again, and that's kind of why I didn't play it. I just kind of lost that sort of. I picked up another game which is on my list, higher up on my list, and that game took precedence over this game, and I just couldn't play through it. I don't know.
So yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn though is a fantastic fucking game.
Wow, I didn't see that coming.
It's if you like that sort of like Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft sort of play style, like complete the world or whatever, but you think it's gotten a little old and a bit stale with the Ubisoft games, this game does it. This game does it right. They do it so right. They have it set up like that, but still manage to keep the world super interesting on its own, even without that stuff. Because oftentimes in those Ubisoft games, it's kind of just like I'm running here, I'm running there, and there's nothing interesting in between. I don't feel like that's the case with this game. I feel like the whole time you're walking around, the world is just fascinating the whole time. The story is really good. The gameplay is out of this world. Fantastic. Yeah, I remember this being a game where like I would leave like to go to work or maybe I was at work. I was in work at that point. And I just really wanted to go home and play it some more because I just thought it was so fun and interesting, and obviously the metal dinosaurs are really fucking cool. And I also remember really marveling at just like how gorgeous the game was, because I feel like this was one of the first games to really take it to the next level when it comes to graphic fidelity on the PS4.
And it was made by a team that made first-person shooters.
Yeah. Crazy enough, oddly enough.
Crazy.
Killzone guys. Crazy.
Yeah.
There we go.
Cool.
Now let's go from metal monsters to real ones.
Real ones in real world. You'll see these outside in your backyard if you're not careful. I picked Monster Hunter World Iceborne as my number 5. This is the first Monster Hunter game I've ever played in my entire life. I know they were out on the DS and they were out on portables. This is the first console Monster Hunter game. Story fucking sucks. Gotta say that. Because the story is, what are we doing today, boys? Oh, there's a monster over there and you gotta go kill it. Otherwise, it's just in the way and I don't like it. Go kill it. And you're like, okay, I'll kill that monster. And you come back and he's like, all right, we killed that monster. Oh, well, there's a bigger, stronger monster over there. You guys gotta go kill it. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So the story fucking sucks. But
you're really selling it, dude.
Really selling it. But it is such a good. It's so good game. It's so good gameplay. The gameplay is incredible.
So good game.
It's so good gameplay. Then the systems, there are like 800 systems, which is daunting as hell when you first boot it up and you're like, I don't fucking know what any of this does. And the tutorials aren't very good. It's a very Japanese game. It's very just like, this could have been done better. But it's so fucking fun. It's so fun to just get this huge ass fucking sword or huge hammer and just smack some monsters in the face with it. Look at that. Like that. Like, what is that? This guy, he just punches you with goop and then you explode. There, he didn't explode. There he goes. Yeah. And the monster designs are incredible and they just, one of the reasons I love this game is like they released this game in 2017, I think. I didn't pick it up at first. Cause I'm like, I don't think this. I've never played a Monster Hunter game. I don't think this is for me. I've seen gameplay of it, and I'm like, it looks cool and all. But then I picked it up, got into the systems a little bit, went, oh, that's how this works. And it just fucking clicks. After a while, it just clicks. And you're like, I am badass at this game. And I feel badass. And I can take out this huge 3-horned monster by myself. And it feels good. Feels good, man.
Feels good,
That's
man.
it. That's all I got to say.
Nice. I hate to do this mid-show, Nick. But, man, I got to pee so bad. So I'll be right back.
All right.
I'll edit this.
Here, I'll get you your clap. Your editing clap.
Thanks. I was gonna really need that audio sync clap.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I just see the professionals doing it.
Yeah. Me and Corey have to do it for our show. Do a little clappy clap. All right, let's jump.
Clap. Let's jump into your number 5.
Yeah, my number 5 is this little game right here.
What is that little game right there?
This little game right here is called Stardew Valley, my friend. Truly one of the greatest games I've played. If it's on this list, it must be.
That's kind of the whole reason we're doing this, right? Look at that little game. This came out this generation? No way.
It did. 2016. Wow. We looked it up.
Wow.
The really cool thing about this game is basically Harvest Moon, but with a modern twist. But the really cool thing about this game is that it was made by one guy. Pretty much fully developed by one guy until, subsequently, after it was released, he kind of has some help now. But it's truly incredible. I've put so much fucking time into this game because I own it on 4 different platforms. Because I initially bought it on the PS4, put a ton of time into it on there, and then I bought it on PC, put a ton of time into it on there, bought it on the Switch, put a ton of time into it on there, and then bought it on my phone and put a ton of time into it on there.
Wow.
It's just a game that I can't stop going back to because There's
That's like
just
that right there was like one of my favorite parts when just
fishing.
you just put no, you put shit in you put like lobster traps.
Oh
I
yeah,
love the little lobster traps.
yeah. And there's so many. They made it like you can just farm if you wanted. You could just you could just mine if you wanted. You could just fish. But there's also like some mystery hidden within the game and a little bit of a story as well. You could also like make a wife or have
Oh,
a
you
wife.
make a wife.
Have a wife or husband. Yeah, it's just it's a super cute game, and it's just a lot of fun. It's like what Facebook Farmville should be,
Yeah. Without any monetization.
Yeah,
Can you imagine
yeah.
if there was monetization in this game?
Oh god, I would have spent so much money in it.
I'll say that. Don't
No,
give them
I
any
wouldn't
ideas.
have. I wouldn't have. Yeah, it's just a great game. There's not much to be said about it, but it's a fantastic fucking game. And the fact that one guy made it, he designed it, he wrote it, he did all the music for it. Like this guy did everything, and just made one of the best games of, if not this
Of the
generation, if not just this generation, of like all time. Like really, like this is a very memorable game.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What's your number 4, Nick?
My number 4. Well, this one's pretty recent. I don't know if you can read that, but that says Marvel Spider-Man on the PS4.
You say it's
This is-
recent, but it was actually like 3 years
2 years ago. It's 2 years ago, 2018.
17.
No.
Pretty sure.
Wow. Shit. Well, anyway, this game is fucking incredible. It is, and I know how fucking memey it is to say this, one of the only games where you actually get to feel like you're actually Spider-Man. Like,
I agree.
back in the day,
There's no better way to
Back
put
in-
it, honestly. Like,
yeah, back in the day, it's like, yeah, there's web swinging and stuff like this, but this just made it feel real. New York City is almost perfect to a T. I visited New York City and I'm like, oh shit, I've been there. Oh shit, I've been there. I've been there. Holy crap, this is a real place and a real thing. They did such a good job filling the city out, and I'm just a sucker for Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man villains. I love what Spider-Man stands for, I suppose. Just playing through the story, it is so good. The writing is so good. The characters are so good. And it's always been that way for Spider-Man, I feel. And Insomniac just nails it. It nails the feeling of Spider-Man in every possible way. And that's it. It's just, if you want to be Spider-Man and you love Spider-Man, you got to play this fucking game. You probably already have.
True.
Because
true.
it's so good. So good. That's my number 4. What is yours?
Yeah, also, shout out to Batman Arkham City. That wasn't this gen, but without that game, we wouldn't have this game. You know what I mean?
True.
They have similar play styles, but it suits Spider-Man so well. They got the swinging down perfect. My only gripe with it is it's a little repetitive, but it's still really, it's stinking good.
I think when they come out with the next one, like I played Miles Morales and they have like the side quest, it's not so like pick up this item. It's more so like content in the side quests now. And I feel like once they make a full-fledged sequel to this game, it's gonna be so fucking good.
Yeah,
And
I bet we'll get it in 2 years too.
they kind of set up a villain who doesn't quite make sense in the Spider-Man canon, but I'm super excited for it and excited to see where they take it. They've set up quite a few villains actually, and just kind of curious of where it'll go.
Shit.
And if they'll add into like the Spider-Man multiverse, which would be fucking great. But
Got me
that's
hyped.
my number. I know
I'm gonna have to steal your Miles Morales.
Dude, yeah. I have it.
Yeah, I do too on the PS5, which I couldn't find one. So
I'm like, I have it. You can have it because I already have it on the PlayStation digitally, but I have a physical copy of it too. Anyway,
Yeah, so
how the fucking times we right?
my number 4 is a recent game as well. This game came out about a year ago. But goddamn, is it a good one? Death Stranding. This game, oh man, this game is something else. It's I would say it's not for everyone. But I will say it should be.
Get on it, coaching.
It should be for everyone. This game's so fucking good. A lot of people are like, it's just a walking simulator. You just walk and deliver things. Why would I want to play a game where I'm just a delivery man? You ever play Crazy Taxi? You're just a taxi driver in that game. Eh? That's all you do. And that's a great game.
Yeah, but like you're a crazy taxi driver.
Well, you're a crazy Postmates deliverer. There's fucking ghosts and shit, and like people trying to kill you, and like yeah, that is what this game is. You're a delivery man. But there's a bit more to the story than that I won't get into too much detail. But it involves Mads Mikkelsen delivering one of maybe his best performances of his entire fucking career. He's super great in it. What's his name? Norman Reedus. Norman Reedus. He's the main guy. He doesn't really act much because he doesn't say much, but goddamn, you grow connected to him and the baby connects to your suit, and that's how you detect fucking ghosts. It's weird. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a weird fucking game, but it's good, and it makes you feel things, man, and it makes you think about things, and it makes you want to drink Monster Energy drinks.
I heard about that.
So, you get poop grenades. You poop in a toilet, and they turn into grenades. I mean, what else do you want from a game?
That's how you get rid of ghosts. You poop in a toilet, make a grenade.
So what you're seeing him do right now, he's setting up an anchor to get to the bottom here, because your biggest villain in this game is the terrain, right? That's your biggest villain, is the terrain in this game. So he's setting up an anchor to go down, but the cool thing is if you're connected to the internet, that anchor could be there for another person playing the game. So they could come across that and be like, oh, that is super helpful. And you could also come across something that they set up and be like, oh man, that's super helpful. It's really cool. And then there's like this freeway that you need materials to build. But if you're playing online, you co-build it with other people playing the game. And it's a sort of journey-esque experience where you're like, oh, I'm not alone. And it's very it kind of prepared me for the coronavirus, you know?
Does that fit into the story at all? Where you may not be the only one delivering packages, or is it just kind of like
there are other porters and you see them walking around, so it's not you're the only porter, but
that's kind of the vibe that I got, was like you are the only guy, but I feel like
you're one of the only guys, but there are other porters.
Gotcha.
Sam Porter, like your last name kind of describes your
occupation.
Job. Yeah. But then, the story develops and you find out Sam is a bit more important than you initially thought. Yeah. Yeah, super interesting. Just play the fucking game, man. It's fucking good. It's a good ass game. It's weird, but it's good.
Next up, I'm gonna interrupt you right now. Top 3, baby. Number 3, Enter the Gungeon. Best. That's all I got. Best roguelike game ever. I thought, you think Binding of Isaac's good? You think Binding of Isaac good? It's got nothing on this fucking... It's good, but it's got nothing on this game. This is a bullet hell fucking... Look at it. That guy just threw a grenade and 2 grenades jumped on it. Like, what the fuck? It's so good. This game is just so good. It's Binding of Isaac, but better and deeper, and the characters make sense. And I really want a second one. A lot of these games, I'm just like, please give me another one. Please, I just want another one of these games because it's so good. I platinum this fucking game, and that's not easy to do.
You prefer this over Hades, huh?
I do. Hades. The thing I don't like about Hades is you know what you're going to get. You can plan on what you're going to get. Whereas this one, it's like you go into a room and it's a box.
Very random. Yeah.
Well, it's a brown box, which means I could get fucking nothing. I could get a pea shooter that does no damage. Or, it's a red box. That's a good box. I have a good chance that something great's going to be in there. And then you open it up and you're like, I got a fucking pea shooter. And you're like, oh my God. But man, they did such a good job with this game. And I heard that they were going to do more with it, but it was their first game and they didn't quite know how to code. So they can't. So they couldn't really put DLC and stuff into that. Hundreds of guns that are all funny and all do stuff. I don't know about hundreds, but dozens of bosses that are all fantastic and good and infuriating. Great game. Play it. Fucking play it. It'll eat up time when you're waiting for the next game to come out. If you need that, it's a good game to hold you over. What is your number 3?
My number 3, interestingly, much like your number 3, is a sort of smaller. Well, not smaller, but it's not like a AAA game.
Less known. Not on a whole lot of lists.
Wouldn't say it's less known, but Tetris
Probably
Effect.
Shit. Oh, okay.
Tetris Effect is my number 3. First of all, I just adore Tetris to begin with.
I know that. I did not.
I'm not very good at Tetris, but I love it, and I think it's just like a perfect game. It sums up what video games are. It's problem solving, it's action, it's that this is video games. It's tactile, it's stressful. It's just a perfect fucking video game, and Tetris Effect takes it to another level. They add all sorts of beautiful music to it. They add a VR element, which I haven't been able to experience enough. I have played it in VR like once or twice, but the music is great, and then just the visuals of it and all the different like extra modes that they add just adds so much. They made Tetris, and they made Tetris perfect, especially with the new update, Tetris Effect Connected. That really took Tetris Effect and like made it absolutely perfect. I don't think you can make a more perfect Tetris than that. But yeah, it's just Tetris, but like there's just so many different modes, and like the stacking mode, and it's Tetris, but it makes you feel something, just like Death Stranding. It makes you feel something, man.
Tetris feels something.
It's a good ass game, but yeah, ultimately it's just Tetris.
I agree. My number 2.
It's your number 2, Nick.
Number 2, my lord, is Nier Automata. This is the game that I played after I played The Witcher, and I needed something that was not necessarily as good as The Witcher, but was different enough so that I wouldn't compare it to The Witcher. This game is like nothing I've ever played. It is Devil May Cry. It is a bullet hell. It is a hacking game. It is an aerial combat game. It is everything. It has
action.
Person action. Yeah, it's a hacking game. It's everything. It's like it does so many things so well. The music's good. It makes you want to kill yourself because it is so fucking sad. The whole story, the whole reason everybody's doing something and there's just no hope in this world, and it's like, fuck, this is horrible, and they just keep going, and then by the end of it you're like, I don't want to live. I hate them. I hate emotions.
Just makes you feel something, man.
Makes you feel something deep down. And it's got the DMC, like Devil May Cry fucking combo system where you can keep somebody up for an hour and a half if you just keep hitting them. And that feels so good. It has all of these different 9 out of 10. Fuck you, GameSpot. It has all of these different.
That's a really good score.
Pretty good. All these environments that are all different, and they all have different shades and different hues. Like, this is a fucking carnival that's going on, and robots are like celebrating, but you hate robots, and you're like, what the fuck is going on here? Why are these robots not hurting me? This is not what I've been told. Oh, it's just so good. And the character, the art design, the animations, the score, the music, fantastic game. And Nier, its Replicant is coming out next, and I haven't played the original Niers, so I'm super excited about that. I'm hoping it lives up to this game in some way.
So what you're telling me is Nier is near release.
Yes, Nier is nearing release. Yeah,
Gotcha.
Should be next year, pretty soon, I think. Yeah, I fucking love this game. Like, it is okay. I guess I like bullet hells because it's like Enter the Gungeon on the bosses. You know, you got all these like little red bubbles. Those are all bullets that you have to avoid. But then there's also like this juggling mechanic, and you can switch your weapons around, and it depends on like what weapon you have first in your primary hand and your offhand. It like moves around your combos and stuff like that.
I played this game. I never beat it though. But I played it, and I loved how different everything was. Like, 1 second you're playing Galaga, and the next second you're like third person action. Next second you're like running around like this weird open world. I'm just stupid and got lost, and I was like, I don't want to get lost anymore, and just stop playing.
Well, there's a thing. There's a thing where
I don't know where I'm going. I don't want to play this anymore.
Man, that's the whole thing about it, is like you can turn off any of the UI stuff. Like, there's like this mechanic called chips, and you can take out chips, and it'll take out your HUD. It'll take out your mini map. It'll take out your health bar. It'll take out the enemy's health bars, and you can use that space to better your character. So you can be like, I want to deal more damage, and it takes up this amount of block, but I only have this much block left to put something else in, and I need life steal or something like that. And you can level these up, and it's very different. It's such a different experience than any other video game, and that's kind of what's on my list, is just games that are just different. They just do something above and beyond what I was expecting them. I didn't expect this game to be anything, and I played it because I'm like, well, I don't want to play Horizon anymore. I'll just get a game that I hear is okay, and I picked up, and that's
a good segue to my number 2.
What was your number?
My number 2, same sort of thing. I was playing nothing, and I was like, I want to play something, and I went into your room when we lived together and grabbed this game. I'm like, I'm sure I'll never beat this, and then just got hooked and played it for a year straight. Persona 5. Goddamn, I love this game. It's hard to explain exactly why I love it so much, I guess, but like, I just got lost in the world, I guess, and the characters, and the whole game is just growing relationships with these characters, and that makes you stronger in like the dungeons. It's an RPG with like dungeons and stuff, but when you're not in the dungeons, you're just in a city just talking to your friends, and that's how you grow your stats. It's just choosing who to hang out with, and win. And there's just something you could just tell they put so much time into like what each character is going to think and what they're going to do and how they behave, and the aesthetic of the game is just entrancing, and I also really like the combat. The combat is just Pokemon, but like much better and more interesting than Pokemon.
Yeah.
And each dungeon is just interesting, and the villains, I mean, like, these are horrible villains. These are like bad people. These are like rapists and you know, money launderers and you know, plagiarists, and like these are just like horrible people, and showing that on the inside, you know, there can be good there still, you know, and it's a fantastic game. I love Persona 5. But it is very long. It's very fucking long. So I will say with a grain of salt, if you're like, ooh, that sounds good, I'm going to play that. If you're not willing to spend like 100 hours, you probably don't want to pick it up. But if you've got nothing else going on, then it's the one.
That's what made me stop. I got like 70 hours in, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I stopped playing after a while, and I was like, I tried to pick it back up. I'm like, I don't know where the fuck I'm doing, what I'm going for. Like, how do I do? What are my Pokemon? What do my personas look like? I don't even know anymore. And then
see, that's like, interesting. Like, because it is a game that took me a long time to beat, and like I would play games between this. So like I'd put a big chunk of time into Persona, and then like some game would come out, I'd play that game, and then go back to Persona after I beat that game. And every time I went back to it, it was like riding a bike. I just always got back into it. And yeah, I don't know. I never had that issue, I guess.
That's strange. Yeah. Different people.
Different strokes for different folks, I guess.
That's what they say.
Well, here it is. Nick's big number one. What's your number one, Nick?
Like 2 times because I can't talk about video games without mentioning this game. It is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. There's nothing else to say. Look at all those fucking awards. Look at all of those. Oh, I don't know if I'm pointing in the right spot. Look at all those awards. This game...
It's a lot of awards.
It's the game of RPGs. It's the best RPG that there is. Sorry, Persona 5.
I'd say ARPG.
Yeah, okay. Best action RPG that there is. There is so much love and so much dedication that went into each section of this game. You talk about what was the last? You talk about like Horizon Zero Dawn, where you just walk around and you feel the world is alive, and it's like, this is that game. You travel on your horse for 40 seconds, and you see something out in the distance, and you're like, what is that? Why is that house on fire? And you go over there, and there's this whole backstory of like this old lady who needs your help, but she's actually like a monster, or she's working with monsters or something like that. And you're like, what the fuck? And it turns out that she's like, you know, trying to save her dad by tricking you because she made a deal somewhere, and you have to go and travel. And it's just a fucking side mission that you're on. Like, it's not like you have the story missions where you go throughout the story and it tells a beautiful story like every game does. But then you get into a side mission where you just think, you know, I'm going to just do this for a couple minutes. And it becomes like one of those things where you're just like, wow, I did not expect that. There was a mission where this lady killed her sister because she wanted to marry her husband, but her husband was like a werewolf who she fell in love with, but she didn't know that. And then when you go back to her, you could tell her that he's a werewolf, or you could not. And if you don't, she goes into the fucking house where he's at and is a werewolf and fucking eats her because he learns that she killed her sister to get with him instead of his. It's just like, what? That's a side mission? Like, there's so much passion that went into this game, and it just blew me away with how much stuff. And going from this into Horizon Zero Dawn, it was like, I can see how Horizon Zero Dawn's a good game, but I cannot. All I can do is compare it to The Witcher, and it just does not stand up.
I will say,
same
Horizon Zero Dawn does not have Gwent, and for that very reason, it deserves to be lower on the list. You're right.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah, Gwent is awesome.
Gwent is really good. It's very broken, but it's very good.
Yeah, but it's awesome.
It's awesome. Man, I love that game.
Yeah, I don't want to say my actual opinion about this game because I don't want my career to end before it even begins. But I need to give it another shot. That's all I'll say about Witcher 3. I need to give it another shot.
Yeah, you do, and I know it.
Yeah,
I know it took me a minute to get into it because you play the prelude, which is like 5 hours in itself, and you're like, wow, there's a lot to do here. This is a big map. And then you finish the White Orchard area and you get to like Novigrad, and you're like, I thought the last place was fucking huge, and this is like 5 or 6 times the size of the first place that you were just at, and you're like, what is happening here? And then you finish that, and then there's another fucking section with islands and mountains and stuff, and you're like,
it's a lot of game. Yeah, it's a lot of game.
And then the DLC is always on sale for like $10, and that adds a whole new area that's all like fantasy. It's fantasy, but it's like fairy tale fantasy sort of. It's just gorgeous, and there's so much for what you pay for. It's worth it. It's worth it. What is your number one?
My number one, and this is one that we disagree on as well, but we're not here to argue. We're just here to talk about our favorite games.
Absolutely.
And my number one is Zelda Breath of the Wild. There is no debate on this one. This one is last gen, last gen, because it came out on Wii U and the Switch, so it doesn't fucking matter. This is last gen. So, yeah. But Breath of the Wild to me, similarly to you, how you were talking about how you were amazed by The Witcher 3 and how like this story is so compelling, even though it's like not main story. I felt that way about this game, but with the world and the world design. This game is an open world, but it doesn't have the Ubisoft tropes. It doesn't have the
towers.
Go to this tower to unlock and you can see everything, and then you go to these things to collect that thing. It's not how it is in this game. It's literally just the world is your oyster, as they say. This is, you go do what you want. You can head straight to the big boss if you wanted. You'll probably lose, but you can if you want. You can go this direction. You could go that direction. It doesn't matter. There's one little tutorial island, and then you're just free to go. I remember one section of the game where I just saw this spiral on the ground, and I'm like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "Oh, this spiral leads to this rock thing, like this divot." And I'm like, "What do I put in this divot? I'm sure it'll bring up a shrine or something." So like I found a rock and I put it in there, it didn't work, and I found another rock sort of thing, put it in there, it didn't work. Then I saw up on the cliff that there was like something over the cliff, and there was a bunch of baddies, and I had to kill all these baddies. And then I saw there was this like circular thing, and I grabbed it and I brought it down and I put it in the divot, and it brought up a shrine. And I'm like, that is the most genius like world design. Like, they didn't tell me anything. They didn't say this was a game mechanic. It was just there, and because the world design was so good, I was able to figure it out, And like, that's this whole game. It's like, it doesn't tell you shit, but like, you just play it and you figure it out. I absolutely adore this game. It's just, you can get lost in the world. I don't know. I love it. I will say there are some like shortcomings, I guess. Like I wish there were more dungeons and stuff, but like, you know what they say, the journey, it's more about the journey than the destination, And this game has one hell of a journey,
Who says that, Jake?
Who says what?
the journey is better than the destination, or whatever the fuck you just said.
That's a very old saying, Nicholas. That's a very,
But I
very
was
old
just
saying.
wondering who.
Me right now?
Okay. Oh, sure.
Oops.
Oh, hi.
Yeah,
well, that's it.
So, yeah, that's it.
We just thought we'd fucking do something,
Yeah,
small, but you know it's gone on almost 2 hours at this point. So
hour 10, hour 20. Oh.
fuck, I don't know my time. It's it was fun though. I'm glad we got that out. I'm glad that our lists are very fucking different from each other.
I like that. I think it says a lot about who we are as people, and if you come watch our show, we have a very diverse taste. Here, enjoy some Tetris as we.
Dude, this shit's hype.
Look at this shit. Look at him go.
Oh.
I like this this new added third screen here.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's nice.
I feel like I'm getting distracted a whole lot though.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, absolutely.
I'm totally distracted right now.
Thanks for watching, you guys. This has been the Loner Gamecast. It's a bonus episode. We might throw a couple of these up here every once in a while when we feel like it. This was a big thing. We thought Next Generation was happening. Let's get together, do our best of Last Generation. I'm gonna sneeze.
While Nick is sneezing, make sure you check our show out. We post it every Tuesday, so watch it, or don't. That's cool too. Don't have
to. Follow us on Twitter at emergencypizza_ is Jake, at fatal_microwave is Nick. Look at our other channel. Look at our shit. That's it.
Check me out on Twitch. Lonercast.
Have a good rest of your day. Take it easy. Bye. Nice.